Hey, it's the Chief with Bonding with Board Games, coming to you with Between Two Cities. Stonemeyer Games and designers Ben Rossett and Matthew O'Malley. All right, it is a card drafting game done with tiles, and it has kind of a Seven Wonders feel where you're actually building a city to your left and to your right, where you're building half of the city and the person to your left is building half the city, and the same thing on your right. So instead of cards, you're passing around tiles, and you're drawing two tiles every time, but I'm starting to explain it. Just go look at this real quick and you'll see. Nice box cover art. This is the Kickstarter, kind of a limited edition that gets numbered for what it's worth. I mean, but there's tons out there, but it is the special edition. But I do like the whole purple mountains in the background, and sorry if you hear the clickety-clack. That's my dog that's always in the back. Nice full color rules. I've already done an unboxing, so we're not going to go through this. I'm going to just basically show you gameplay real quick. Scoring board, just know that you've got a standard scoring board that you can score on either side. All right, I've got the tiles out. So the tiles are going to be basically, they can be in the box or they can be in a pile, or you can do them real nice. But these are going to be what's going to end up making your cities, and I'll get into that in a second. These will be used in round 2, and imagine they're just singles of these, but they're done in a double rectangular format. We've got some nice little player pieces that just represent different cities from around the world. They're basically used as placekeepers so that as people don't get mixed up with their drafting system, and I'll explain that in a second. And they come with a very nice reference card that's going to show you how everything, all the different buildings in here score. And as you'll notice, very colorblind friendly. They've actually used the shapes as well as the little pictures inside them, and everything scores real simple. But let me show you how a turn actually runs. Round 2. As you're building your city is going to be a 4x4 square. You're going to be building one with the partner to your left and one with the partner to your right. When it's your turn, you're going to have 7 of these tiles in your hand. So you're going to have 7 of them, and you're simply going to do a typical card drafting deal where you're going to lick through and you're going to pick two that you want. So when you pick the 2, you're gonna pick them up, and then you're gonna pass. The rest of these will be sitting right here. And I put my little deal on it, my little Colosseum of Rome. The wooden bits are nice, just little placekeepers. And that'll be ready for my neighbor after everybody gets their 2 selected. Once they're selected, we're going to decide, well, do I want this to go in this city and this city, or reversed? And I can talk to my neighbors and we can kind of figure out what's going on. Now, as you're building your city, I'm putting 1 into each, they're putting 1 into each. Round 1, by the end of round 1, the little city won't be fully fleshed out. It's only going to have 6 of these tiles in there. Then you're going to go to round 2. Round 2 is very, very simple and basic. Everybody draws 3 of these doubles. You're going to pick 2. Get rid of 1, and you're going to decide, well, do I want it to go into that city or this city? All right, and you're going to fit them in again so they follow this 4x4 grid. You can't have one, sticking out over on the side or whatever. You gotta follow, so in the end it's a 4x4 grid. Everybody does that. Round 2 is over. You're going to go back into round 3. And it's a wash and rinse repeat. You draw 7 of these tiles. You're going to select 2 of them. This time, instead of passing left, you're passing right. Placekeeper. Whoop. And you're going to decide again, okay, everybody's ready. Boom. Hey, do I want to go into my city over here or my city over here? Eventually, you will build something like this. All right, I'm going to go in and explain. They've got this great card, and the tiles do a really good job of explaining the same thing on the tile. Not hard at all, but you got a little card. If you want to have it up closer to your face, hello. All right, I'll go in and explain how each of these tiles kind of works real quickly, and then we'll come back to this little scene. So this is like a shopping center or a store that you can buy from. And you can see, there we go, If I have one in a row or just one down, I'm going to get 2. But as I add in and I keep them in a row, they've got to be in a line, left, right, up, down. If I get a bunch in a row, I can go up to 5, or if I get 3 in a row, 10 or 16. So if I had this in here, we would be looking at 5 points for these. So that's simply how the shopping buildings are going to work. Let's go to parks. Parks work in almost the same way. If they're connecting, you'll get 2 just for one down by itself. You got 2 together, that's 8. If you got 3 like pictured here, you're going to get 12. Then you can see you kind of get diminishing returns. You're only going to go up 1 point for each of these. So one of the things that happens in game is a lot of times people have only 3 of them down. They'll actually go throw a separate one in, somewhere else, because the odds that you can get 2 of those in and get 8 points out of it instead of just 2 are great. So you're going to be doing the same thing kind of with buildings, but they can kind of make this little L shape rather than just in direct lines. The house is very cool. You do not want a house ideally parked right next to an industrial building for obvious reasons. Hello, smoke. All right, so you wouldn't want it right there because that's going to make this house just worth 1 point. Let me bring it up and show you. All right, so if you have that, this is scoring, or you get 1 point if you got it next to an industry. So what does this mean? Well, you can take your house, and if you're next to or in your city, you have the multiple different types. So if I have shopping center, I do have an industry area, and I do have a red type of an inn. I do have a blue office type place, lawyers and whatnot, and I have a triangle green, which is parks. I can get up to 5 points. And you cannot count houses in this. So if I was very focused just on shopping and industry, each house tile would only be worth 2. But if I can represent all 5 of these, every house tile I have will be worth 5. So multiple houses in a very diverse city are going to equal a whole lot of points. Offices. Your offices are simply going to score based on how many of them you have. So if you have a whole bunch in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them get me 15, 6, 21, and I'm going to get a +1 if they are placed next to any of these little red buildings, these little restaurants or little hotels or taverns or music joints. So you want to have a bunch of these in, but if you can ideally strategically place them next to the red buildings, you're going to get a little bonus. So let's move to these red buildings. So red tiles are real cool. You want to collect the sets of beer, which is up in the little diamond, food or a restaurant, music, and like a hotel. And if you have a set or one of each of these, you can get up to 17 points. If I only had 3 of them, I would only get 9. Now I could have 2 beer joints in here. I don't in this case. In this case, I would be getting 9 points. But if I had 2 beer joints, it would start over and I would have, let's just say I got 9 points for these 3, and then I had another beer joint, that would get me 1 point. So you're just collecting sets in that base. Industry. Industry is going to be, you'll look at all the different cities, whoever has the most of the industry buildings is going to win and get 4 points per tile. So if I had 3 of these, I'm going to end up getting 12 points. Second place, whoever else has got all their cities out and around, they're going to get 3 points per industry tile. And third place is just going to get 2. So if my city only had 1 industry and I was in third place, it's worth 2 points. All right, I'm zoomed back out. I would have been scoring this city over here that I've been working on, and I would have been scoring this city over here. And my score, the score that's going to be compared to everybody else at the table, is going to be my lowest city. So that way I can't sandbag this one and just make this one awesome. I've got to build them both up kind of equally because only my lowest one is going to score. And that is one of the nicer elements here. It keeps you pushing both of your cities up, trying to keep them both at maximized, scoring. All right, we're back. Now, here's the issue. It's fast. It's got a little something more than, say, Sushi Go, because you are doing this in conjunction with those to the left and the right. So there's a little bit more interaction there, kind of. But I kind of feel it's similar to the interaction in Sushi Go where, oh, that person's building up tempura or whatever, tempura, and I don't want to give them the second card. So I take it and maybe I don't need it, or maybe I do, or I know they're going for dumplings and I start not letting them get dumplings or whatever. The interesting thing is that factor though, that you're building two cities and your ultimate point total will be whatever the points are in your lowest city. I love that, so that you're trying to get the most out of both, and you don't want to bring one up too high. And how is that affecting the person that's building in with you, and how kind of cooperatively can you do that? So that part's, it's kind of neat, but I got to tell you, my only problem with this is it's about a 25-minute game, and if I want the card drafting feel, I love Sushi Go. I will turn to Sushi Go. It's easier to set up. It's more portable. The scoring board in this, it's pretty much pointless. I mean, it's the nicest player mat scoring board that I could have imagined that is in here. It's double-sided. It's cool. You can really just use a piece of paper. Give me a little golf pencil and we'll just score it out. It really doesn't need to be on a track, at least as far as I'm concerned. But it looks nice. So, but that's my only deal. So it's got a kind of a nice little twist. I like that they're doing something with drafting. And I don't not like it. I kind of enjoy it. My son likes it. It plays real simple, but if I'm picking between card drafting systems or whatever, this probably isn't going to be my number one go-to. But I like it. I like it. My son likes it. But we all like Sushi Go too. So, sorry. All right. Chief, bonding with board games. Almost said Dice Tower. Sorry. It's bonding with board games. See you guys. Bye.